Hello, this is Cara. Today I've got a junk journal for you which I've delighted in over the last few months, adding little bits and pieces. This one's for the fairies and it measures 6 by 8.5. It has 4 signatures and it's 6 holes stitched. The spine is about 1.25 inches wide. It's had a bit of a long history. I actually created the structure of the journal a few years ago. I used watercolour paper for the pages and I coffee dyed the watercolour paper. So it's quite dark actually. And then I'd chipboard for the covers, covered those with paper, and then I'd painted it a rather shocking pink, which you can see coming through every now and then. I didn't like it at all and I threw it in the bottom of the cupboard, got it out this year and thought, let's see if we can do a makeover on this. So the fairies have weaved their magic. On the front here is some beautiful, as the background, is some beautiful Japanese papers, just delightful cherry blossom design. It's just so pretty. The main focal point here, the 2 little fairies, are from a wallpaper pack. So that was just perfect for this. Throughout the book, I've used quite a bit of the Kaisercraft Enchanted Garden kit. I had a few of those papers, so quite a few of the cardstock throughout is from that collection. I don't know that if it's still available. That was a while ago that I bought it. My inside pocket here, a little bit of lace. Did some stamping on some of the paper. This was also another set I had. I think this one's graphic design. And I made a little booklet out of 2 postcard-sized journal cards and gave it a little, pulled it together with some fabric hinge and stitched. And so I've used that for the front and the back. And then I've put in some coloured papers I'd done with distress inks or sprays. And then I've just popped them in for some writing pages, just a few pages in there, lots of lovely colour. So that's a little notebook that just pops in the front. Going to this page, this little book tucked in down here. I've got a stamp there, the Elves and the Fairies stamp from Australia Post, and some more of the lovely cherry blossom. This is just a little mini booklet that I'd put together. I think it's from Daphne's diary, the papers of that, and I've just popped that into that little book and it tucks in there. This lovely fairy here is a stamp that I'd stamped and I've coloured, and then I've gone to town with the colours of the rainbow around our fairy here who's watering her garden. Lots of little quotes and cards as you go through. I did have fun. I just kept adding more and more and more to this, and I could still keep going. But I figured it was time to get it recorded, and then I can play with it more if I want to. This little pocket there, I've popped in this little printout from the internet. What is your fairy name? Which was rather fun. And then I backed it with some tea-dyed paper. These are some templates that I'd put on using the jelly plate. All sorts of possibilities. So I just made that look pretty. Piece of note paper. Put another stamp on the back. That tucks in there. So some writing space throughout. I've used this was a birthday card, which I rather loved this little picture. So I've used that as a journal card as well. And this is Create Your Own Dreams. This is from Graphic Design, this little one. Another one, I'll tuck it in there. and tuck that in there. I played around with sprinkling some water on the back of these pages because, as I said, I did dye it rather darkly. Oh, I love all my little quotes. So here's some other paper. That's not from the Kaisercraft. It's from another one, and I can't recall where it was from. And I've backed it with some coloured paper that I've made and a little toadstool picture. Did a little bit of stenciling there. This side, some more of these postcards that came with the Kaisercraft Enchanted Garden, little piece of fabric up here. Some more journaling space. I'll use this just as a lovely little journal to write in. Lovely little butterfly there, a piece of ephemera. Another card, another little fairy. I might even end up drawing on these pages, who knows. This little one is just gorgeous. He finds her and this is the consequence, a little kiss over the top of the toadstool. And a little tag that I'd made separately using some Tim Holtz glaze. You are loved, and I thought, oh, I'll pop that in. Little piece of scrap from jelly plating, little sticker. Love this. This is actually from a paper napkin. I backed it with card and beautiful image. Just made up a little tag to go in there, and she pops, and a little butterfly there that was 3D printed. Expressions, a little die cut that I had of a dream catcher, a watermark from a cat brush, a little scrap of paper there. Just no rhyme or reason to some of these pictures, just they're usually related to the garden. This lovely bunch of flowers was a birthday card I'd received. Just some labels, some text out of magazines, a little bit of a magazine cut out there. A stamp that I've coloured. Discover the Magic. It's a pretty this is one of those graphic design cards that I'd cut out the fairy image and then used the butterfly background and backed it with paper. Tuck that in there. I do like lots of writing space. This little flip out. Just move that over. It's got sort of 3 parts, as you can see. I popped a little tissue wrap that had these lovely flowers on it. And this one is an envelope that I'd just coloured with just spray paints, I think it was. And I popped in here all the language of flowers, also from the internet, all the meaning of all the different flowers. So that one lives in this little envelope. There's something to read as well. And pop that in there. This is another tag I made. They've got a little fabric attachment there. Somewhere else to write in. Pop her in there. There we go. It's a piece of fabric I covered this tag with. Gorgeous image on it. And then I've got this other little postcard here with the word dream. A little bit of a snippet that I'd made, snippet roll, and I'd cut up a few pieces. I'll pop that back in there. I just kept adding little things. It's such fun. This is an actual flower, dried flower there. A little bit of fabric underneath. Backed. I popped that in this little slot here. And then I've created another 3 fold out. This one was slightly too big and I sort of miscalculated, but never mind. And I put in a fabric hinge, some tissue, little scraps of paper. These are little fairies here. And I've left that blank. It's waiting for some good reason, yet to be discovered. Some more little pockets, little cards I've decorated, and bits of cardstock. one of the postcards made into a pocket. This is a little collage I did using bits and pieces of old wrapping paper and some stamping and a little poem from the internet. And just on the back, a bit of writing space. A little poem on it, The Fairy Dance. This one is one I'd done earlier actually, not related at all to this journal, and I thought, oh, I could make this into for the fairy journal, finish it off. So I've just done a bit of a quick collage here on an envelope, front and back, and that's a little pansy inside, just for something different. Little belly band here with our layers of scraps. Another one of those little postcards, just tucks in underneath. And this was a free little envelope I found on the internet, which I made up. And thought that tucked in nicely there with the colours. Lots of pockets in this book. This was another one I got from the internet, were I the fairy godmother who came to bless your birth, instead of granting wishes 3, I'd give you all the earth. Isn't that amazing? So I've glued that on there, and that's just on an old index card. It's quite pretty. Another little pocket here with some of that scrap of fabric, a little word tag put in there. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Little tag. A little bit of stenciling you would have seen there at the back. Some more pockets made with scraps, a little bit more water spatters on my pages. Dragonfly, use your wings. This one, loved completely. Little converted dress tag when you buy a new outfit. I just played around with it and decided I could pop it into this little book. It's just another card using some of the pretty papers. The Fairy Princess, that's the Kaisercraft Enchanted Garden. This one here, another little poem, little collaged index card, old card. Pop it in there. Some lovely, that's actually paper that you would use as a drawer liner. Very pretty little rose pattern on it. This little one was just gorgeous. 2 fairies playing table tennis over a mushroom. Doesn't get much happier than that. Little journal card. This one here, some more scraps. I just love this image. It's also off the internet. I'm happiest when I'm with you. I added those words, but I just love this. 2 lovely ladies sitting down having their cup of tea and a piece of cake. Another index card that I used. They're really good substance for journal cards. That's actually a using some lettering ink, which I've then stamped from a lino cut that my husband had played around with. This one here, little leaf, dried leaf there. Another one of these little cards, have an open heart. Gorgeous images on these particular ones. This one was out of a catalogue, a Drom Keen, from Drom Keen. So I popped that in. That was actually camouflaging a piece of white undyed paper that was there, and I put a lovely piece of fabric over the top. Looks really lovely. Another little side pocket, another little poem in the back. This one I actually sewed. This is actually on acrylic felt with a layer of fabric and then some butter muslin, then a tea bag that was stamped with this butterfly, and painted a little bit, and then I've hand stitched around the butterfly. And at the very last page, this one's a lovely birthday card that I got sent from a friend. She's tucked in there in the back. And voila! there's my For the Fairies journal. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.